Hello everybody and welcome back to the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Custom Zombie Mapping Tutorial Series. And in this video we are going to be actually setting up lighting for our map, and we're going to be building our map so we can test it throughout the rest of the series. Now I know in the last one we did set up a light, right? We set up that light, but that is not lighting. We need to actually build lighting. So we're going to have to add a sun and all that kind of stuff, because if we try to compile it right now, as some of you might have tried to do, it won't work. It'll say that the lighting could not be exported because volume sun is missing. So in this video we're going to add volume sun. We're going to fix the lighting with reflection probes, and then we are actually going to build our map and test it so that we can do that throughout the rest of the series, because you're going to want to do that a lot while you're testing your map, right? You're going to go through a lot of testing and stuff with it. So firstly, we're going to want to add a sun volume. Now, I'm going to clear this up now. We cannot draw a brush, select sun volume, and draw a brush like that. This is what the sun volume looks like. Now, you may have remembered from the first video when I was saying, oh look, a bunch of suns. This is what the sun volume looks like, but it is not a real sun volume. And the reason for that is, that's not what I meant to check. If you look at it right here and you go to the entity info, it still says world spawn. And this is because this volume is not a real volume. It's not a real entity. This happens on anything that you click that's not an entity. See, we click on a wall and it's still a world spawn and entity info. But if we click on the player info, then it'll bring up info player start, which is an entity. So we have to delete this because that won't work. What we have to actually do is we have to insert it as an entity. So we can go to the entity browser here, and we can just type sun. And then in sun, we can just look where volume is and then just drag that right in our map. It'll create the entity brush for us, and then we just draw it, right? Now, I'm going to point something out before we begin. Our map is completely encompassed in this sun volume, because you want to encompass your entire map in the sun volume, or lighting will mess up and not work where your map is outside of it. So you want to encompass your entire map in it, but there's a problem here. So this is view-based fake lighting, right? So if we go ahead on this bar and change it to real lighting, look at what's going on in this room. The lighting is all screwed up. This wall is like completely black, except for that one area where the light is. This wall is completely black, and then the rest of the room is like whitewashed out. And you can tell there's a big problem here. Actually, we do need to build the lighting. That is part of the problem. So before we build the lighting using this little lightning bolt, I'm going to show you guys how to get this actual bar, because this isn't the default bar for the camera. What you need to do is go to the view, click on view, and then you're going to go to view toolbar, and you're going to set exposure. I think by default it's set to render. You're going to want to set it to exposure. And when you have this, to build lighting, you're just going to hit this little arrow and you're going to hit the thunderbolt icon. And that's going to build all of the lighting. So sorry, what I showed you before wasn't the actual lighting. This is the actual lighting, and this is almost worse. Everything is like dark spots. We've got these weird texture glitches in the corner, like a jigsaw kind of thing. We've got bright spots up on the top. The corners have bright spots. The floor meeting the wall has these bright spots. So it's really messed up. And it is not the rendering in Radiant. Some of you may think, oh, that's just the rendering in Radiant. It doesn't look like that in game. This is exactly what it looks like in game, because I've tested it. This is very accurate in terms of lighting. So you can use this to test your lighting. You don't have to build your map every time. I really like this feature. This was a very good idea. So the reason that everything is so screwed up is because this sun volume is way too close to the map. This needs to be very far outside the map, or it's going to cause those issues. What I do is zoom all the way out until I can see these thick gray lines, and then I put them all the way back to there. You can see how far away I put the edge of the volume from the map. And I'm going to switch to the other view and make it do the same up here. Actually, I put it a little bit past there. My tools are lagging quite a bit here. I'm not sure why they're lagging so much, but okay, there we go. So now, if we go ahead and rebuild the lighting right there, and we just rebuild the lighting here, we shouldn't have the same kind of issues we had before. So it's processing the probes. It's not quite done yet. So now it is done. Now look at that. It already looks a lot better. We don't have all the issues we had before. But the problem, we do have a problem here though still. And that problem is, if you can see in the corners, we still have that gray thing. And on the floor we still have it. And the walls, you can tell like right here that this is like this is more dull than this texture. So there's something still screwy going on with the lighting. And this is where we're going to have to add reflection probes. So we're going to go back and zoom into the map. And we're going to add a reflection probe in here, which is also an entity. So we're going to search for reflection. And then there it is, reflection probe. And unlike World at War, it actually gives you the area that this will hit. Now, the cool thing about this is we can actually expand this area. So let me bring it up into the map because it's way out right now. Okay. Right about there. So we have this area. This is the area that that it works, that the reflection probe is working in. Now we can actually expand this area via these little arrows. So instead of covering the room in a bunch of little reflection probes, we're just going to use one and extend it. Now you should not use only one in your entire map. You probably want roughly one for each room. But since I only have one room, I'm only going to use one anyway. So I'm going to drag that back over. Now I just got to get a hold of that red thing and drag it over to that side. So now that we've extended it that way, we have to extend it in this way as well. And you want to make sure you get your whole room, because where it doesn't cover, there's going to be texture glitches. So I've gotten it there. So now it is encompassed almost entirely in the room. Over here it looks like it is, but if you look over here, see this top part is actually not covered by the reflection probe. The same underneath. This part here is not covered by the reflection probe either. So how to fix that is we're just going to switch views here just to see, and then we're going to use these ones right here. I don't know what these are. These ones are for moving, the little ones with the arrow, the 3D kind of vector thing there. And then these things on the top are for actually resizing it. So we're going to make it go up there. And we're going to make it go down there. Okay, so now that probe is covering this entire room. It's great. So now we just need to rebuild our lighting using that little thunderbolt icon again. And these issues should become a lot better. They should disappear pretty much. So the more probes that you have in your map, the more weird, or the more, like, the longer it'll be to process it. So, yeah, the more probes you have, it might take longer to build it. See, this looks a lot better. The only problem that I seem to have with this is it still retains these things on the side. And I found that if you move the walls inward, like right there, see how they just disappear? But if you move them back outward, they're still there. It's like a weird glitch. So you might want to position your walls outwards before building the lighting. I'm actually going to try that. I'm going to put my wall out here, or out there. I'm just going to extend this wall. I want to test my little theory here. I want to see if this really works. And this one does it too, so I'm actually going to move this wall out a lot. Oh, hold on. Okay. And I'm going to move this one back. And we're going to test this theory again. I just got to move this back over to cover all of that. Okay, so now let's try rebuilding the lighting again and see if it'll shorten it. It looks like it's shortened it over here already when it's processing. Okay, now if we move this wall back in. Okay, that is really weird. I'm wondering if that's a glitch in their lighting system. I don't know, because it was in this exact same spot when I built the lighting before, but it had that little texture glitch here, or lighting glitch rather, and now it's fixed that I moved the wall out. So before you build the lighting, or before you build the final lighting, just move the wall out a little bit before building it, and then move it back to where you wanted it to be, and it seems to be a lot better. As you can see, everything is now fixed. All the textures are good, the color is good, and the lighting is all good. And we have a matrix style probe here. I actually love this. This looks so cool. Although I don't know why it's green. Oh, because the reflection probe edge is kind of clipping into the wall there, that's why. But anyway, now we have proper lighting. So we can go ahead and build the map right now and it will work. But we're not going to yet because as soon as you spawn into that map that you build, you're going to die. And that is because we do not have a volume set up. So let's go ahead and set up a volume. So once again, we cannot just dry brush and set the texture. We have to use the entity browser. So we're going to go in here, we're going to search for volume, and then we're going to go, to info volume. There we go. And then you're just going to drag that into your map and make sure it encompasses, the room that you're going to be in. Because you're going to have multiple volumes for each zone for your map. But since my map is only one room so far, I'm just going to have the start zone, which is this volume. So you're going to encompass your little area with it. You know what? I'm going to make it actually fall within the walls because I am going to extend this later on. And make sure it covers it top to bottom. So there is our zone, right? And you know what, I'm going to make it extend a little bit out. That way I can see it when I'm outside of it, like that. So now that I can select the zone, this is all good. We've made the zone, but now we just have to add a few KVPs to it. So just select it and go to the end of the info or hit N, and it'll bring up info volume. So we're going to add a few KVPs. We have the target name KVP in course, so we're going to have to modify that, and we're going to make this say start_zone. Okay, so that's our first KVP, and the KVP that we're going to add, we're going to put the key of script noteworthy, and we're going to put the value of player volume. And I think that key value pair is actually what allows you not to die. Because I set a volume in there before with the start zone target name, but not the script noteworthy user-defined KVP, and you still die when you spawn into the map. I think what it was there for, just as a little bit of a sidetrack, is it was used to prevent the exploiting of glitches, or help mitigate it at least. That way if players were able to exploit out of the map, they would, at least if the map was designed properly, they would be exiting a valid zone, a zone without a script noteworthy player volume KVP, and if they entered one of those, then it would effectively kill them, right? It would just kill them right then and there. That way they couldn't exploit glitches. I think that's what it was for. So that's why we have to do that, where we didn't in World at War. So we have that zone set up, we have the lighting set up, and now we can go ahead and build. So to do that, we're just going to bring up the launcher. We're going to select our map in the launcher, check it off. We're going to hit compile, light, link, and run. Compile, set it on to full, and light we're going to put on medium, and then just hit build. Now it could take a few minutes for this to finish, because it has to, especially on your first build. If it's your first time building the map, it's going to take a while to convert all the assets and stuff. It's going to prop up the Radiant splash screen, and it's going to build everything. If it is going well, you'll see little console windows show up, so I'll show that in a second when it does, showing a whole bunch of output of the build. And I really like what they've done here with Black Ops 3. See these? With World at War, it just had like the game splash screen and then an annoying little texture flash through thing, where this has actual output and a progress bar and a time counter. So this is a massive upgrade from World at War. I really like this. But yeah, this can take some time, so I'm just going to pause the video while this is doing and wait till it's finished. Okay guys, so I just forgot one thing before we go ahead and show the test map, because I'm going to rebuild it anyway. I've changed the ceiling texture because after the build it seemed like the texture I used was glitched out because it was completely white, like the texture was extremely brightly white, like it was blinding. So I don't know if there's a glitch with that texture. I was using the plaster one, so I just changed it, and this one seems to work a bit better. And another problem, I was noticing weird glitches with dark spots, and that was fixed by adding a light grid volume. So you just got to add one of those. I just encompassed my my entire map with it. You don't have to go that big. You can just encompass each area of your map with one. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm not sure if you can have multiple. I think you can have multiple of them. I'm gonna double check on that when we add multiple rooms. But yeah, definitely make sure you encompass at least your starting room with it. And maybe your entire map, but I need to look into that a bit more. But make sure you have a light grid volume or you will have weird glitches. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to rebuild and show you guys what we have so far. Alright, so we're in the game, and we're in our map. As we can see, there's none of the weird texture glitches happening. Everything is all good. Now, there is something weird, though. There are a few things that I have noticed that are really weird. First of all, there were still a little bit of a texture glitch, especially along the floor. I had to move the wall in a little bit more from the preview. I'm not sure why I had to move the wall in. And it was like, when it was white, it was like a snow kind of thing, because I could jump on and they would make clouds. And I could shoot it, and it would make like a different, like it wouldn't make like that. It would make like a snow, like when you shot snow. So I don't know what was going on there. And I've noticed a few other weird glitches. It just happened right now. Look on the screen in the middle. You can see like the corner of the room that just matched up there. And it's like imprinted on the screen. And then when I shoot, it goes away. If you go ahead and go prone, and then you look down, you can see how the gun goes a little bit white there. And as you move, your hands go white, and so does the gun. This is a really weird glitch that I discovered as well. And mainly, if you just run around and do stuff, especially with like dark corners, it imprints onto the screen. Look right there, I just made another dust cloud there too. There's weird glitches going on here. I'm not really sure what they're spawning from. So, for the most part, our map works. But there are some weird glitches happening here that I don't really get. This is a beta, so it's probably, you know, hopefully these get addressed. I'm wondering if it's something that I did, if it's something that I missed, or if these are legitimate glitches that we should be reporting. I'm probably going to send this video into someone. Maybe they can take a look at it, because these are really weird glitches. Like, look, you can see the line again in the middle of the screen there. It's like a little zigzag line there. You can really see it right there, and you can see how there's like dark spots on the screen when you move. It's really it's messed up, and they're reproducible. You've just got to hit them in the right spots. Like right there was a lot. Like you can see it all over my screen there, the black smudges kind of things on the screen. So hopefully those get fixed soon. But in regards to our actual map, things seem to be working pretty well. Like look, like the corner is transferring over onto the wall. That's so weird that it's doing that. And it's like, but when I look over there, it goes away. But when yeah, this is really weird. I'm probably going to send this in because this is super weird. I want to know if it's something that I'm doing or if it's something with the game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like below. Comment any questions or comments you guys may have on the video and subscribe. And in the next video, we are going to be adding in window barriers and wall weapons. So I'll see you guys then.